Finally, Captain Ibrahim Traore is really shaking up, shaking up a lot of things in the continent and around the world. So this week, okay, no, was earlier, not this week, but just more recently, he made a statement and he said that the government of Burkina Faso they are going to withdraw the mining permits from businesses from countries that refuse to sell weapons to Burkina Faso. And here's the thing: just like most other countries in the Sahel region, Burkina Faso is experiencing serious terrorism activities. Serious that is has brought the country to its knees. It's just recently that the country is beginning to make advancement against the terrorists, but there's still a lot of work to get done. So in this situation, you understand that the way to defeat, because if you're going out against many of these terrorists, and a lot of them have sophisticated weapons. I don't even know, they likely buy it from the black market, but sometimes I wonder where they get the money to buy it. But they have sophisticated weapons, and you cannot fight such opposition that have such sophisticated weapons if your own weapons are low standard. So Burkina Faso needs weapons. But the thing is, several countries are refusing to sell weapons to Burkina Faso because it's a military regime. In fact, the president of Burkina Faso, that is Ibrahim Traore, he said these countries are not just refusing to sell weapons to Burkina Faso, but even when they go to buy weapons from other, that even when Burkina Faso goes to buy weapons from other countries, these countries that refuse to sell them weapons now stop that one those weapons from other countries that are coming into Burkina Faso because they own the license to certain components in the weapons. Yet, businesses from those countries that are stopping weapons from getting to Burkina Faso so that the government and the military can fight the terrorists, businesses from those countries are allowed to keep operating and mining and exploiting the minerals in Burkina Faso. That's what Ibrahim Traore said. Now, here's my take. I agree with him. Because you cannot exploit the minerals, you cannot exploit the wealth of Burkina Faso and refuse to sell them weapons to bring calm to their country. That does not make any sense. Listen, how can you make yourself rich from a country that is on fire? Yet, what is needed to put out the fire is in your hands. This thing does not make any sense now. Imagine that um, a house is on fire, serious fire is raging in the house, and someone who is driving a truckload, in fact, several truckloads of water, instead of putting out the fire in the house, the person uses the opportunity to collect the valuables in the house. We as humans, we will say that that is inhumane. We as humans will speak out against that. So why is it bad for an individual to steal from a house, to collect from a house that is on fire, even when the person is with a truckload of water to put out the fire? Why is it okay for us to say that is bad, but it's not okay for us to say it is bad when it happens to a country? If a business does not care that Burkina Faso is literally burning to the ground, that terrorists are causing mayhem across the country, and all they care about is to be taking the minerals in Burkina Faso. That clearly tells me that that business does not care about Burkina Faso. There is no love for Burkina Faso in that business, in the heart of that business, and the people who are working in the business. And if you do not have love and care for Burkina Faso, why are you operating in the country? Get out. Now, you may argue with me and say, oh, that businesses are separate from the government. It is the government that is stopping the weapons to get to Burkina Faso, not the business. But if you followed your politics, you would understand that on many occasions, businesses, big businesses, and the government, they work hand in hand. For example, why is it that when they're having different summits across the world, right, leaders of nations go, the leaders who leave countries, they go with their business representatives because businesses and government work hand in hand. That's why look at the era of several from the era of colonization, even to now, when Europe or Americans are doing something, they do it with their businesses. You tell me, good, it's good. Something just came to my mind now. You tell me, why do you think Elon Musk is losing his mind over what's going on in Venezuela? Why do you think it? You think he's losing his mind? Oh, because he really cares about the people of Venezuela. He really cares about democracy in Venezuela. Is that what you want to tell me? We know it's not true. When he has taken a stand along with the US government, the Biden administration. In fact, recently we just saw yesterday, this one happened yesterday. The United States came out and said that Maduro, the incumbent who actually won the elections per the result, the United States came out and said Maduro is not the president, and now is recognizing the opposition as the winner. And you know what said good? Why do you think it's happening? Because you think because the US government and Elon Musk, you think they don't their interests are not aligned in Venezuela? It's the same thing that happened in Bolivia. I believe that was 2019, 2020, when there was a coup against the government in Bolivia. And someone came out to say, oh, because Elon Musk was championing the coup. And someone came out to say, oh, Elon Musk, that you know that this is not, well, he spoke out against that. And Elon Musk, I'll put that thing on the screen. Elon Musk tweeted back at the person and said, we will coup who we want to coup, deal with it. You think that he supported that coup just because he wants the best for the people of Bolivia, my foot. You don't know the way politics and business work. You don't know. My foot. He supported it because they what is in Bolivia is important to him, not just the United States. It's also important to Elon Musk as an individual because Bolivia is maybe I believe the world's biggest producer of lithium. Elon Musk needs lithium for his Tesla. He needs lithium. So sometimes when you look at things and except they are small businesses, but when you see big businesses, big players like that who work hand in hand with government, is in their interest. Whatever happens in a particular country, they tend to take the side of their government. So pulling it back to Burkina Faso, if you look at it, many of these people who are operating and collecting the minerals in Burkina Faso, they're not working outside of their government. They're not. So they should go and tell their leaders, they should go and speak to their government and say, Burkina Faso is on fire. Give them weapons, or if you're not giving them our own, allow them to buy weapons from other countries so that they can defend their interests and bring stability. Because how can you even want to run in a country that is unstable? How can you want to do business in a country that is unstable? In fact, the stability of Burkina Faso is in your interest as a business working in Burkina Faso. It's in your interest. You should tell the government that the peace and stability of Burkina Faso is more important than the minerals they want to exploit from the country. Because okay, now let's look at it from a national stage, right? United States, for those who are saying that um, Ibrahim Traore is wrong by proposing to revoke the licenses of these businesses from countries that are refusing to sell weapons to Burkina Faso to bring safety and stability to Burkina Faso. To those who are saying Ibrahim Traore is wrong, let me ask you a question. These countries that are refusing to give weapons and to sell weapons or even allow weapons to get into Burkina Faso are clearly hostile to Burkina Faso. Because if you don't want peace in Burkina Faso, you are not Burkina Faso's friend. If you are championing, because removing weapons is that you're by default you are supporting terrorism in Burkina Faso. So if you're supporting terrorism in Burkina Faso, you are not Burkina Faso's friend. You're a hostile country. You're hostile to Burkina Faso. Now let's use that. Let me now major on that. United States will not allow businesses from a hostile country to operate in the United States. In the first segment of this show, sorry, the second segment of this show, I just mentioned to you now that the US is looking for they want to access graphite to secure their own green infrastructure. Now, one of the places that the think tank proposed is Mozambique, Madagascar, and Tanzania. Why? Because businesses that are exploiting graphite in Mozambique, Tanzania, and Madagascar, they are in countries that are allied to the United States, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom. Why didn't they to 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 countries like say Venezuela to go and get it? Because the country is hostile. So United States will not allow businesses of a hostile nation to work in United States. Europe will not allow businesses from a hostile nation to work in Europe. So why should Burkina Faso allow it? Because if you are not giving weapons, if you are stopping the flow of weapons from entering Burkina Faso, you are in support of terrorism. If you are in support of terrorism in Burkina Faso, you are not Burkina Faso's friend. You are a hostile country. Look at what Europe did to Russian businesses that were operating in Europe. Look what they did. Europe went against them hard. They went against Russian businesses. So if it was okay to go against Russian businesses in Europe, and in America, because you say that Russia is a hostile country, why is it not okay for Burkina Faso's government to revoke the mining license of businesses from countries that refuse to give weapons to Burkina Faso? Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I support Ibrahim Traore. He's doing the right thing for his country. But in as much as we are saying we're talking about external players who are ta- taking the resources in Africa and exporting it and blah blah blah. Let's also look at the importance of internal businesses to also get into the action. I keep saying this because we cannot allow our most of our income and the money from our countries be dependent on outsiders. So local businesses from Burkina Faso, local businesses from across Africa need to get in on the action so that we can mine our own resources. We can add value to them, process them, refine them within our respective countries and export it to the global market. Let me know, is Captain Ibrahim Traore making the right decision by revoking the mining license of these businesses? Let me know what you think about this segment in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your friends so that we can reach more people as we come together to build our amazing continent.